Bonjour Year 8, welcome to Lesson 10 of the spring term. And today we'll be going through the feedback on the spring tri-weekly last lesson. Okay, Year 8, here's a list of the equipment you will need for today's lesson. You will need your French exercise book, a pen and a ruler, 4 coloured highlighters or coloured pens, your sentence builder, which is attached as a PDF on class charts, and finally your Module 3 knowledge organiser. It'd be great if you could print off, if you have access to a printer, both the sentence builder and your Module 3 knowledge organiser. Pause to get that ready now, press play when you're ready to move on. Thank you for uploading all your work onto class charts. It's fantastic to see just the progress that you're making. And just a couple of things to remember. Please upload evidence of all of your completed work, so that I have photos of any Quizlets you do, any additional activities, and each page of your exercise book as well. Please also make sure you follow the indicated time for each activity. Do not run over. If you run out of time on an activity, please move on to the next one, because these are varied activities and they're testing different skills. Don't get stuck on one activity and not move on. I want to see all activities in your book, please. Now, if you do have any questions, please email me, and here's my email address. Okay, first of all, as always, copy la date, copy the date in French, vendredi 22 janvier, and underline that neatly in your book. Then write down the title, response and feedback lesson, and underline that in the center of your page. And then write down the objective, l'objectif, which is to describe a problem with going out and what you're going to wear. Pause to get that ready now. Press play when you're ready for the do now activity. And your do now activity should take about 5 minutes. I want you to correct the following mistakes. These should look familiar from your tri-weekly assessments. So pause to do that now and press play when you're ready to check your answers. And here are your answers. 1. Elle veut. Elle veut is spelled V-E-U-T, so it's a T on the end. Veut only ends in an X for the I form, the je veux, and the you singular form, tu veux. Il veut, elle veut, on veut are all V-E-U-T. 2. Ranger ma chambre is not to clean my room, it's to tidy my room. You've not learnt the verb to clean, so be really careful with your accuracy there. 3. On veut, it's not we formal, that is we informal. You need to write nous voulons for the formal part, the formal we. On veut is the informal part, so nous voulons should be a correction there. 4. Je voudrais is not I want, je veux is I want, and we learnt the whole verb vouloir ourselves. Je voudrais actually is from the verb, but it's a different form. It's a conditional, and it means I would like. 5. What's wrong with si je allais au cinéma? Well, you need to conjugate the verb aller, and you need to therefore make it je vais, V-A-I-S, si je vais au cinéma. And then finally, cette eau blanche. Okay, just because it's set, C-E-T, does not mean that it's feminine. Okay, it sounds like C-E-T-T-E, but it's not. The only reason this masculine word here has a T here is because you can't say, as you would do normally with a masculine word, ce eau blanc. It just breaks down the flow of the sentence. So the French add in this T here, cette eau blanc, rather than ce eau blanc, where you have to stop and start. So this is masculine even though it's got a T. The difference being with a feminine word, it'd be C-E-T-T-E. Okay? Well done, Year 8. Pause to correct that now. Press play to go on to activity number 1. Okay, I want to give you feedback on your tri-weekly assessments now. I want to look at the areas of strength that I saw looking at each individual tri-weekly assessment. Your areas of strength were, in the first section, you were able to answer a lot of the vocabulary very accurately, with only a few variants, with maybe you'd added an extra word, which maybe sounded more natural to you in English or in French perhaps, but these minor errors weren't picked up on the spreadsheet where it's pre-populated with answers. So there were only a few variations that you came up with, or little errors, but you seem to have a really good grounding, a really good understanding of the vocabulary that we've been looking at this half term. So well done you. The second one, as a class, you were really, really good at remembering the different forms of vouloir in the present tense. That really impressed me. You were getting very accurate with your spellings and with the different variations of the verb vouloir, because it is a regular verb, and you did really, really well there as well. The next one, you were getting most of the adjectival agreement correct, with only a couple of questions which were proving more tricky because they might be exceptions, or they might be a little bit irregular, or you might have thought that c'est collant was feminine and plural, because all the rest of the actual footwear and shoes and socks are all feminine plural. Collant is the exception and is masculine plural. But it was just tiny things like that that I noted that people were slipping up on. The rest of it you had a really good grasp of, so well done. And then finally, in your paragraphs, you remembered many of the key structures that we've been learning this half term from the sentence builders that you've been given and you have been using. And you're able to write back all the bullet points. In most cases, for most students, you felt comfortable to answer all of those bullet points. And I'm really seeing a fantastic improvement in your work from this time, like a year ago when I taught some of you, and even from the beginning of the year. I'm seeing an incredible improvement. So you're doing a great job. Just keep up the good work. I just wanted to share some of the really good paragraphs with you. So I'm keeping everybody anonymous on this, but these were fantastic paragraphs. I'm so impressed. So the first one, let's have a look at it. And we've got we had the introduction with the name and age, etc. And then j'ai un problème. And now this student did not have access to the different accents, so there's accents missing, but I understand that, and in future they'll be added onto the tri-weekly itself so that you can use them yourself. Okay, j'ai un problème car je veux aller à une fête avec mes amis vendredi soir, mais mes parents disent que je ne peux pas, which is lovely. So you've got here, this is a problem, wants to go to a party with friends, and when? Friday night. And then the parents say no, parents say that I cannot. And then what their parents say, ils disent que je dois rester à la maison et je dois promener le chien, faire mes devoirs et je dois aller au centre commercial avec mon père. So 3 tasks that this person has to do instead of going out with friends to a party on Friday night. An opinion here, ce n'est pas juste. Here, je veux aller, it should be à la fête, but that's not a problem, et changer l'opinion de mes parents. So they want to change the parents' opinion. That's really nice. And then we've got the final bullet point, what they're going to wear to the party. Si je vais à la fête, je vais porter une jupe noire, un haut rouge et des chaussures. C'est cool, non? And that follows very much the structure that we had in the lesson, just the example. So I'm really pleased with that one. Well done. Here's the second one. Bonjour, je m'appelle, j'ai un problème avec mes parents, problem with parents. And then where they want to go and when. Le samedi soir, je vais aller à la fête avec mes copains, and who they want to go with. Great. They've changed the order as well, which is really nice here from what we've actually had. So this shows a really good command of the French language and twisting and turning the language. So you've got paragraphs, you've got sentences rearranged so that it's more personal and natural, which is lovely. À la fête, je vais porter un haut rouge avec un jean noir. Je vais aussi porter des chaussures blanches. Je vais porter une veste noire, mais mes parents disent que je ne peux pas. Ils disent que je dois rester à la maison, faire mes devoirs et promener le chien. Je veux aller à la fête, ce n'est pas juste, which is lovely, very individual work there. So this is just a couple of examples of the really good work you're doing. So I hope you can see that you've made some really fantastic progress since the start of the year using these sentence builders. So really well done, guys. So for this first activity, I want to revisit the vocabulary that you had in your knowledge organizer. So I want you very quickly just to turn off the recording in a second and see if you can remember these words and say them after me. So pause very quickly, see if you can find those words or remember what those words are. Press play when you're ready to get the answers. Okay, let's look. So le soir is in the evening. Okay, so you need to really say in the evening. I gave you a point if you said le soir is the evening, because it is, but we use le soir to express in the evening. We don't add the word in there because that's an English way of saying things. To say in the evening in French, they just say le soir. So in the evening was the perfect answer I was looking for. Désolé is sorry or I am sorry. Ranger ma chambre is to tidy my room. We had this in the do now. Promener le chien is to walk the dog. And I've put 2 in brackets here for ranger ma chambre and promener le chien because I know you've had them and you've been using them after je dois, I must. And I must to tidy my room doesn't make sense. And so je dois ranger ma chambre and je dois promener le chien. I must walk the dog. So that's why I've got rid of the 2, but literally on its own without the verb devoir in front of it, it also means the 2 because it's got its er ending on the end, which makes it an infinitive. So I accepted both answers there. Ce n'est pas juste is it's not fair. I want is je veux. To go to the cinema is aller au cinéma. Now, as I mentioned, there weren't the accents available, but I'll put them in a little box at the top next time so that you can just copy and paste them and use them as you want to. This is a bit like how you've seen it on Languages Online, where they have a box with the accents in there. I'm going to do that for you in future. I can't is je ne peux pas. And then do my homework is faire mes devoirs. Okay. And then stay at home is rester à la maison or chez moi. And I've highlighted the accent on a because I know some of you didn't know how to do the accents on your computer without having them available to copy and paste. So rester à la maison is to stay at home or at the house, and rester chez moi is to stay at home. So both were possible answers. Well done. Pause if you need to just double check those answers. Press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, we're just going to do some pronunciation practice now. So listen and pronounce after me. Écoutez et répétez. Je veux. Je veux. Aller au cinéma. Your turn. Aller au cinéma. Je ne peux pas. Je ne peux pas. Faire mes devoirs. Faire mes devoirs. Rester à la maison. Rester à la maison. Rester chez moi. Rester chez moi. Le soir. Le soir. Désolé. Désolé. Ranger ma chambre. Ranger ma chambre. Promener le chien. Promener le chien. Ce n'est pas juste. Ce n'est pas juste. Well done, year 8. Okay, let's quickly go through the vouloir as well. So you had this on section 2.1, the grammar section, the first grammar section of your tri-weekly. I want is je veux. Écoutez et répétez je veux. Je veux. You singular want, tu veux. Tu veux. She wants, elle veut. Elle veut. And we had this as a correction in the do now, as some people kept it with an X rather than a T, but it does need a T ending. 4. Nous voulons. Nous voulons. Vous voulez. Vous voulez. Ils veulent. Ils veulent. Okay, look at the ones you're not familiar with and maybe look, cover up, copyright check those ones that you're not sure of in the back of your book. Okay, what I want you to do now is do some practice on the verb vouloir. So what I want you to do is I want you to copy down the English 1 to 9. They're not in the order that you've just seen them in, but they're all different parts of the verb vouloir in there, to want. I want you to copy down this side, and then I want you to write the correct French next to it. So, for example, they feminine want is, tell me. Yep, you guessed it, it's elles veulent. Elles veulent. So you're going to write in your book, they feminine want equals elles veulent. Okay, pause to do that activity now. Spend no more than 5 minutes on it and then press play and let's check your answers. Let's check your answers. So we said they feminine want is elles veulent. 2. We informal want is on veut. 3. You plural or polite want is vous voulez. 4. He wants is il veut. 5. I want is je veux. 6. They masculine want is ils veulent. 7. We formal want is nous voulons. 8. You singular want is tu veux. And then finally, number 9, she wants is elle veut. So pause and tick or correct those now. Well done. Okay, year 8. I want to examine section 2.2 again. And this is on adjectival agreements. I want you to look at the different options and say which of the options is correct and why is that exactly. Okay, so for example, number 7 is c'est au vert, which is the first one, and that is because it's singular and it's masculine, although it does look a little bit different to the other masculine ones that begin with se, because au starts with a silent H and therefore it needs an extra T adding in just here. Okay, so the reason why number 7 is c'est au vert is because it's singular and masculine. So I want you to say which option is correct and if you can say why that's great. So it might be because of the gender, because it's masculine or feminine, or because it might be the number, it might be singular or plural. Just take a couple of minutes on that and then we'll just check the answers together. Okay, let's look at these. So we had the first one, it's masculine singular adjective, so it's vert. Number 8, ce pantalon noir. It's masculine singular adjective and it's N-O-I-R, so the first option. 9, cette jupe rouge, rouge or rouge. Well, it's a feminine singular adjective, so it's the first one again, rouge, ending in an E. 10, ces collants blancs, blanche or blanc. Well, collant is masculine plural, so blanc is the correct one with the S on the end. 11, ce jean vert, verte or vert. Well, jean is a masculine singular adjective, so it's vert ending in a T. 12, ces baskets bleues, bleu, es, or bleu, just an s. It's feminine plural as it's footwear, and therefore it's bleu, B-L-E-U-E-S. Pause to check those answers now. Press play to go on to the next activity where we'll practice this. Okay, now year 8, I want you to practice write the correct phrase in full using just the one correct adjective. So you can look back at your notes to do this if you wish to, look on your sentence builder, or look on your knowledge organizer. So for example, ce jogging gris, is it the first option? Is it grise or is it grise with an es on the end? Well, because it's so, we know it's masculine, so it's therefore going to be gris. Pause to write these out with just the one correct option and press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, here are the answers. Ce jogging gris, we just did. 2. Ce maillot de foot blanc, masculine singular, so blanc. Cette jupe noire with an E on the end. As it's set, it tells you it's feminine. Cette veste bleue with an E on the end. Again, set tells you it's feminine. Et 5. Ces chaussures vertes. Okay, with ES on the end there for you because feminine and plural. Pause to check those now. Press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, as part of your feedback for the writing part, section 3, I have created a paragraph for you based on the criteria that I gave you for your tri-weekly assessment. So, for your tri-weekly assessment, I asked you to write a paragraph about a problem, to first of all say where you want to go, when and who with, to say why you can't go out, to give your opinion, and say what you're going to wear. So here's my model paragraph that I've written and addresses all of the 4 different bullet points. What I want you to do is to copy down in your book the 4 criteria, the 4 bullet points, and then write down the model paragraph. And then I want you to highlight in 4 different colours each of the different bullet points in this text. So pause to do that now and press play and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so here's the criteria. Here is the paragraph. So, first of all, say where you want to go, when and who with. Well, the highlighted blue is here. Je vais sortir avec mes copains. I want to go out with my friends. En boîte is the place. And samedi soir is when. Okay, they're the details there. And they should all be in one colour. Why you can't go out is in green. Je dois laver la voiture. Et après, je dois ranger ma chambre. Et finalement, je dois faire mes devoirs. So I have to wash the car, and after I have to tidy my room, and finally I must do my homework. And I've given an opinion in red. Ce n'est pas juste. And then in my final paragraph, in purple, I've said what I'm going to wear. Je vais porter ce pantalon bleu avec ce polo blanc, ces baskets noires et blanches et une veste bleue. Okay, so just pause to check you've got those highlighted in the correct spaces. Press play when you're ready to move on. This final activity, it depends what speed you work at. I would like you now to go through your knowledge organizer and highlight all the vocabulary you know and are familiar with from the first 3 units that we've been doing. So go through and highlight everything you're familiar with in your knowledge organizer first of all. And then when you finish that, any words you don't know, I want you to use the method look, cover, write, check. This can be in the front of your book so that all of your work is documented together. I want you to write these words down or phrases at least 3 times each to show me that you're trying to learn them. So you're trying to make sure that you know all the words in each of the different units that we've covered. Pause to do that now. Press play to go to the end of the lesson. Brilliant work today, Year 8. Thank you for all your hard work and all your good correction as well. Please remember that you now need to complete your lesson on class charts and upload photos of everything you've done from your book, including any work on your knowledge organizer where you've done your highlighting and the look cover right check words, as well as your highlighted paragraph. Well done. I look forward to seeing it all and giving you a very well-deserved achievement point. Merci. Au revoir.